All right, joining the podcast, we have Samford quarterback Devlin Hodges. How's it going, man? Thanks so much for coming on.
It's going pretty great. Thank y'all for having me. I'm looking forward to chatting with y'all.
Yeah, us as well. And just to start this off, we just kind of want to hear a little bit about how you got into the game of football. How old were you and how did you fall in love with the sport?
Sure. So I know that I played football. The first year I played football was when I was 5 years old, and as far as how I started football, I mean, heck, living in Alabama, I mean that's what we got is football. My dad played football, and he was my little league coach growing up from the time I was 5, and just I feel like from the time that I started playing till now, I've never looked back. I remember the first touchdown pass I threw when I was 5 years old. I remember the exact field it was on, the player who caught it, and everything. And football is just a game that I've always enjoyed, and it's a game that I love. It's something that I want to do as long as I can, whether it be coaching or whatever. I love the game of football. I love everything that goes into it, and it's kind of I tell people right now it's kind of just a weird time for me because it's the only time in my life that that like next season I'm not sure if I'll be playing or not. I'm confident that I will, but once you get out of college, football becomes a business, and it's all business from here. So I'm looking forward though to the opportunities that are ahead, and it's exciting. And here in just a couple of weeks, we'll know what's going to happen.
Yeah, of course. And kind of growing up, did you have a favorite NFL player that you looked up to?
Yeah, I always liked watching Brett Favre. Him just being from Mississippi, from the South. He was always one of my top guys I watched, and then nowadays through high school and now I've enjoyed watching Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. Those guys just stick out to me. I feel like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are the best quarterbacks in the league, and guys like Russell Wilson and Drew Brees who I appreciate because they've kind of they're shorter quarterbacks and they prove to people that you don't have to be the 6'3", 6'4", or 6'5" frame. If you're a football player, you're a football player.
Yeah, absolutely. And, when it came time for you to play in college, you ended up playing for Samford. What was the main factor for you in choosing to play there?
Yeah, so it's funny because I tell people, and it's true, Samford was probably my smallest offer. I had one or two other FCS schools, but everybody else that offered me was they were like Conference USA, kind of those mid-major schools. I was committed to Southern Miss for a couple months, and I flipped my commitment to Samford, and the main reason was because I felt like that was a place that I could go play early, and I felt like it was a place that I could go win a championship at, as far as a conference championship, and then even have a chance to pursue a national championship. Whereas I knew if I went to one of those mid-major schools, it was those mid-major schools are good, but it's tough for those schools to compete with the Power 5 schools each and every year.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Kind of seeing what you were able to do at Samford, how do you feel about the jump from, your FCS level to the NFL? Obviously guys like Carson Wentz and, guys like that, but also just I feel like the height barrier is starting to get broken, and I wouldn't call you a small quarterback, but for whatever reason, we now have the standard where, all starting quarterbacks have to be 6'4", and, now you have guys like Baker Mayfield and Russell Wilson that are kind of breaking that barrier. So, what are your thoughts on all of that?
Yeah, guys like those guys, it's exciting just because they are breaking that barrier. You look at probably the projected top 3 quarterback in Kyler Murray, who's not even 6 foot, and it's like, man, that just really, to me, shows that if you're a football player, and especially if you're a quarterback, you're a quarterback. I know my transition from Samford to the NFL is going to be a big step. It's going to be a lot different, terminology, and I'm sure the game speed's going to be even just way faster. Because you're going against the best of the best, so being on top of everything, all the way from just being great on the board with knowing your plays and knowing your teammates, and being that really being that first guy in the field house, in the practice facility, being that last guy out. As a quarterback, that's something that your teammates are going to see and look at and respond. And I don't know everything. I can't sit here and say that I know everything about the NFL, because I don't. But I'm excited. I know the game of football. I know how the game of football works, and I know that I've been successful in my career, and I know I'm going to do everything that I've done and then some. So I'm just looking forward to getting through the draft and that whole weekend, and just seeing kind of how things shape out.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned your college career. I mean, if possible, how would you describe your college career?
If I had to pick one word, honestly, it'd probably be just mind blowing. I don't know, that may be two words, but mind blowing. I never before the Walter Payton Award ceremony. Me and my dad was sitting in the hotel room talking, and he looked at me. He's like, "Man," he's like, "Did you ever think we'd be here?" And I was like, "No." I was like, I never knew what the Walter Payton Award was growing up. Heck, I didn't even know what it was until about my sophomore year, when they added me to the watch list. I didn't have a clue. And then, as far as breaking Steve McNair's record, I didn't know. Obviously, I knew who Steve McNair was, but I didn't know he had the record for all-time passing yards at FCS. I didn't know that I was going to do all that, and I'm thankful, because I've had a lot of guys ever since I've been on campus at Samford that have made my job easier. I've had some great playmakers out wide, all the way from the first start I've had all the way till the last game of the season. And I've had some great dudes up front blocking for me, a great defense that helps get the ball back, and a great coaching staff. So I know my name's on the Walter Payton and my name's on the record and all, but at the end of the day, I couldn't do it without all the guys that have helped me along the way. And but yeah, it's definitely just kind of mind-blowing. Just sitting here looking back, thinking about everything that's happened. There's no doubt if I could go back, I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't do anything different as far as that. I do know this: if I could give all that back to win a national championship or even a conference championship, I would. I'm a team guy, and winning is what I want to do. I want to be the best at everything, and I guess you could say I was the best in some things this year, but as a team, we weren't the best, and that's one thing that I kind of still kick myself about, because I wanted our team to be the best as well. But it was a great career, and I hate that it's over. I wish I could take someone's fifth year and have a 6 year to play and do it all over again, because I enjoyed everything about it.
Yeah, and Samford's lucky, to have you, because you by every record that you broke, you almost broke every quarterback school record. You're kind of the face of that program leaving. So, what does that mean to you? Kind of, obviously you're a team player and everything, and I don't see, that you'll get totally caught up on the individual aspect of everything, but it still must be pretty cool going into this NFL draft knowing that you kind of set another tone at this college.
Yeah, it is. That's one thing. People always did tell me I was the face of Samford football and all that, and it's definitely cool just to kind of, I guess you could say set the standard. Because I mean, a coach's job each and every year is to recruit someone that they think is going to be better than what you got now, and that's what every coach does. And I'm hoping I made it a little tougher for the coaches to do that. But my time at Samford's done. I'm always going to be a part of Samford. Heck, I've even been to a couple of their practices watching. But each and every year, no matter how many guys you return, there's always a new team, and I'm looking forward for this team at Samford next year to go out and do their thing, and I want them to win every game and win championships and everything, and I want whoever becomes a starting quarterback, I want him to be the best, and I want him to break all my records and everything. And I know that's going to be tough to do, but I want him to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. And I know it's probably hard to pick, but do you have a favorite moment or a favorite play or a favorite game from your college career?
Shoot. I know if I had to go with a favorite play, it would probably be the very first play of offense we had against Florida State this past season. And I mean, many reasons why that's my favorite play. I mean, it's a play that me and my receiver Kevin McKnight that we both kind of came up with, and we coach was talking about all week that we're going to run this play no matter what. And so we get out there, and defense just made a big stop. Still a 0-0 ball game, and first play, we throw it for about a 50-yard touchdown, and just the hype on the sideline and everything. That's a play I'll never forget. And then just as far as a moment would be my junior season, my brother, he played quarterback at VMI, who is in our conference. And he started the game that we played against him. So just being able to kind of play against my brother is kind of like a Peyton and Eli moment. And, I mean, that was definitely my favorite moment just because, I mean, I'd be on the sideline. And when he made a big play or a good pass, I'd catch myself cheering for him and then like looking around, making sure no one saw me. And that was a cool moment. My brother, he's 2 years younger than me, and he actually transferred to the University of North Alabama, and he's competing for a starting job this year. But just having that moment, just to be able to play against him, I mean that's something not a lot of people get to do.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Good luck to your brother, of course. But I kind of want to ask you because, it's funny how everyone gets so quick to judge these small school quarterbacks. Like, oh, he didn't play against anybody. But I mean, I watched you go up against Georgia, and I believe you went up against Florida State, but it's actually escaping me right now which game I watched. But you went up against top tier talent, and you played well. I want to ask you, who was the toughest opponent as far as player that you can think of that you went up against in college?
The toughest player is, without a question, Lorenzo Carter when we played Georgia. And, I mean, he's just, not only is he a good player, but he was just like a cool dude. He never really talked any smack. He just did his thing and lined up and did it again the next play. And I specifically remember a play where it was designed to help our right tackle out, and my running back was supposed to chip Lorenzo Carter. Wow! So basically, it was a double team. I just remember him like I caught the ball, and I remember just like my first read was to Lorenzo Carter's side, and I remember just seeing him go straight through the double team. Like, I don't know how, he just went straight through it. And then, thankfully, he didn't sack me. I had to get out of the pocket and make a throw. But, I mean, that play and just him as a player, that always sticks in my mind. He's definitely the best player I've faced.
Yeah, and you just kind of want to touch on this a little bit. How was your pro day?
Yeah, so my pro day, I thought my pro day went really well. I threw the ball good, and then I had some good testing numbers. I believe it was like a 4.7. I think 4.7, 8.40, 32-inch vertical. I think both of those would have been top 10 in the combine. And at the end of the day, I need to throw the ball well, and I thought I threw the ball well. I threw it both Samford and UAB's pro day, and had some teams talking, and I know there's some teams that are really interested. So I'm just waiting to see what team wants to take a chance on me.
Yeah, I definitely hear you there. Is there anyone that you've really modeled your game after? Maybe not just one particular player, but other players, maybe a bunch of players.
Yeah, I would. I would say that I would say Brett Favre would be one of those guys. I always thought watching Brett Favre, and even when Brett Favre wasn't playing, I was always watching Brett Favre on YouTube or online or whatever. And Brett Favre was always a gunslinger. He never let the pass before bring him down. He never let interceptions bother him. And as a quarterback, anytime he throws a pick, it's going to be like, dang. But at the same time, he always went back out there and wasn't afraid to sling it around. Wasn't afraid to make a throw that he thought he could make. And that's something I've always done. I've always, anytime I let go of the ball, I'm confident that it's going to get into my receiver's hands for completion. And sometimes that bites me in the butt, and I make it ends up being a bad throw. But I'm never not confident in what I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And in your opinion, what do you bring to the table that no other quarterback in this draft brings?
What I've always told people is that and this might sound kind of cheesy, but what I bring to the table is that I'm gonna work to be the best. I'm gonna work to be the best I can be at whatever I'm doing, and I got stuff to prove that. You look at the Walter Payton, the best quarterback in FCS. You look at the record I broke. The most yards thrown by quarterback, and then just outside of football, I'm a world champion duck caller and the Alabama State duck calling champion. I know I might not even have a clue what duck calling is, but it just shows the simplest things. I want to be the best at. I'm a competitor, and I love to compete in everything I do, and that's what I'm going to do when I show up. Is I'm going to compete, and I'm going to work to be the best.
Yeah, I definitely think you have the right mindset there. Obviously there are so many different quarterbacks, and there's so many different ways to lead and carry a team, but I think you definitely have an idea of what it takes. But I want to ask you, because you have a lot of strengths. When I watch your film, you work very well off schedule. Go through your progressions. You have the velocity to get it into a tight window, but you also have that deep ball accuracy, and you're constantly well aware in the pocket. But what is your biggest strength, would you say, of your game?
The biggest strength, I would say that at Samford, it was just knowing my offense, knowing where to go with the ball, and I've always had a quick release, which has always helped me. I've always been able to extend plays in the pocket. I got a lot of strengths. It's hard to choose one. And all these strengths I'm talking about are still stuff I can work on. But I guess if I had to choose one, it would be knowing where to go with the ball, because I always felt confident and comfortable knowing where I wanted to go with the ball.
Yeah, and is there anything that you're looking to improve on most as the draft approaches?
Yeah, I'm trying to improve on everything I do, from board work to taking snaps under center to throwing on the run to my right, to my left. Everything I hit, because I've always been a guy that I feel like I can improve at everything, and I know that's the answer y'all probably get all the time is everything, but it's just the truth. It's hard to sit there and say I'm gonna improve at just this. I need to prove at this the most because, uh, I mean, you just start thinking of other things that you got to improve on. And, a lot of people always ask me, well, like, can you take drops under center? Because at Samford, we didn't, we did probably 99% shotgun. And yes, I'm an athlete. So I can definitely take drops under center. I feel good. I feel comfortable taking, my 5-step, my 7, everything. And, I'm just ready to continue to improve and hopefully get with a really good coach that can improve my game and see what happens.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And kind of, switching gears a little bit, we always ask some fun questions to our, prospects on here. And I want to ask you, if you could pick anybody in the league right now, which receiver do you most want to throw a touchdown pass to?
Oh, I've been asked this question before. It's right now in the league. It'd definitely be Julio Jones. He's just a guy I grew up watching when he played for Alabama, and I always thought it'd be cool to throw him a touchdown pass.
Yeah, definitely. Great pick on that question. And, we are a Los Angeles Rams based podcast, so we ask every prospect who's come on our show. Have you met or talked with the Los Angeles Rams yet?
Yeah, I guess you could say I did. Their, general manager Les came down to for our pro day. He's an Alabama guy, small town kid, and I talked to him at a pro day and talked to a scout. So we'll see what happens.
That's awesome. You got the big wigs down at your pro day. I love it.
I've always I will say this, being a Ram since y'all with the Rams, I've always told, and let me say this first is, I'm going to go back to, I always love to compete, but I've also always told people that I feel like I'd be like the perfect backup for the Rams system just because of what they do and the offense that they do.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy, what Sean McVay has built there. It's definitely going to be something to look out for because, Sean McVay still hasn't drafted his quarterback, so it's another thing to say. But, before, Alexis asks her wrap-up question, do you have any, connections with anyone in the NFL yet, or are you pretty, under the radar? Do you have friends already that are in the league?
I got two friends that I guess two former teammates that are playing in the league right now. One's actually three. Jaquaski Tart, safety for the 49ers.
I love Tart.
Yeah, James Bradbury, defensive back for the Panthers, and then Michael Pierce, a defensive back for defensive lineman for the Ravens. And then actually, I'll add one more. A guy I've talked to a couple times, Jordan Howard, running back, just got signed with the Eagles. And speaking of the Eagles, one of my best friends happens to be Doug Peterson, head coach for the Eagles' son. So I guess you could say I do have a couple connections. I know a couple coaches here and there that have been at Samford, but I can honestly say I haven't talked to anybody, about the draft or anything like that. Though.
Yeah, and as this final question, we just want to hear in your own words. I mean, who is Devlin Hodges as a player, and who is he as a person?
Oh man. So I guess we'll start out with a player. As a player. In my own words, he's the best quarterback coming out. He's a player that's he's just kind of got that moxie about him. He's gonna be the hardest working guy on the team. He's gonna compete, and it's going back to that compete. I mean, that's my biggest thing is I just love compete and I love being the best. And I got a little moxie about me. I got a little swag about me. I know how to fit in. I know how to stay true to myself, which kind of goes just to who I am. I always stay true to myself. I've always been a guy of character, and that's me. big family guy, and like I say, it's just crazy just to think about this opportunity that's coming up, and just knowing that there's knowing there's a chance that I could be an NFL quarterback. I mean, it's just going back to that mind blowing. It's mind blowing, and I'm going to make it happen if I get the opportunity.
Yeah, 100%, man. We're really looking forward to seeing you out there on Sundays. Regardless if it's the Rams or whoever it is, we're gonna be fans of you no matter where you go. Just really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. Love what you did on film. I think you put out some great film out there, and I think obviously, the issue is always exposure for a small school guy. But you bring up Bradbury, you bring up Pierce and Tart, and these are three established players that are some of the better players at their position. So, I think Samford has, something building there, and I think, you have a chance, exactly what you said. You just need an opportunity. I really hope you get that, whether it's with the Rams or any other team, man. And, I wish you the best of luck. Stay healthy, of course, and let's keep in touch, Devlin. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, absolutely. And again, thank y'all for reaching out and having me. And anytime y'all need to call or want to chat, I'm always down to interviews. So just give me a shout whenever.
Awesome. We definitely will. Thank you so much, Devlin.
Thank y'all.
You take care, man.
Hey, appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.